Good morning, students. Here I am again to continue with the lecture of navigation. One lecture I've already delivered on this topic, and in continuation of that lecture will be this one. In the previous lecture, I had concluded with whether the birds use their sight for navigation or not. In context to this, I'm continuing. In some species, visual clues may be all that are required to guide birds on their migration travels. Birds following every year similar route need only to remember the varied visual landmarks over which they fly, viz. Shores, islands, mountains, rivers, valleys, deserts, forests, etc. Birds flying in flocks orient themselves better than birds flying individually because of the possibilities of pooling navigational resources and of averaging out individual errors or deviations from the true path. In one experiment, a few marine birds, example gannet, were displaced 342 kilometers west from their nests on Bonaventure Island and released deep inland in Maine. They observed by airplane to perform more or less random movements until they encountered the familiar Atlantic coastline, after which they made a more rapid and direct return home, indicating their topographic memory of visual orientation. Is it vision which helps? Keaton and Walcott put opaque lenses on homing pigeons so that the animals could not see, but the pigeons could still reach the correct destination. That means visual orientation is an added facility along with other navigational skills. How do night migrants find their way? Do they inspect the landscape by day and memorize it? Or they can see at night, because even on moonless nights, the earth is by no means featureless? How do birds orient when they fly over sea? By judging wind and wave direction, by identifying islands, reefs, cloud formations over oceanic islands, and over cold waters. They can even sense temperature and humidity differences in the air, color and turbidity differences in the great surface currents of the seawater, presence or absence of organisms visible from the air such as dolphins, flying fishes, jellyfishes, and whales. Though these do not make really a very informative list of traffic signs, but they may nevertheless be extremely useful clues to some who have lost their ways. One difficulty in the use of landmarks for navigation is that they change with the seasons, and the changes do not always come in precisely predictable cycles. For example, an early autumn snowstorm can greatly change the appearance of the land. One of the most dependable navigation a migratory bird could use in orienting itself is by the sun, in the same way as sailors use in their navigation. Certain experiments have shown that some birds definitely use sun in maintaining their migratory sense of direction. Main work has been done by Kramer and his students. In 1957 and 1961, they placed Main work has been done by Kramer and his students from 1957 to 1961. They placed migrating starlings in a cage exposed to sun and observed that the bird fluttered on their perch facing towards the normal migration direction as long as the sun shone. But on cloudy days, their activity was disoriented when the apparent position of the sun was artificially shifted by means of mirrors. The orientation of birds also shifted correspondingly. It was further found that the birds responded to the azimuth or compass bearing of the sun and not to its height above the horizon. This type of orientation is called sun azimuth orientation. Since birds are able to determine compass directions in the daytime with the help of the sun's position, it will be logical to assume that night migrants may be able to use the stars in the same way. So I think I have made navigation queries clear by this lecture, and still if you have queries you can put them across to me and I will try to solve them. Thank you.